Welcome back to another evolution video. My name is Fiber and today we're going through the evolution of 7 Days to Die. Before we get started, let me know down in the comments if you ever played the game before and your overall thoughts on how it turned out. The game's events happened during an aftermath of a nuclear Third World War that destroyed an extremely large part of the world, except for some areas, which is a fictional country of Navesgain, located in Arizona. The player is a survivor of war who must survive by finding shelter, food and water, as well as scavenging supplies to fend off the numerous zombies that populate Navesgain. The Windows Alpha version of the game was released on August 16th, 2013 for people who pre-ordered the game on either Kickstarter or PayPal. On screen right now is the earliest footage that was released of the game. Only those who bought the alpha, beta and full game, who then asked to have access to the pre-alpha, were the only ones that could play this. You can clearly see that this is the bare bones version of the game. It's almost like Minecraft, but on steroids. As they were developing the game, it had gotten insanely popular. On Greenlight on Steam, getting 75,000 yes votes, 8,000 followers and 87,000 favorites after only 23 days. It was #1 on Steam Greenlight. After seeing this, the developers decided to speed up production and release the alpha, only to those who had paid for it of course, on the 13th of September 2013. This was known as Alpha 1.1, Alpha 1.0 being the pre-release version. Alpha 1.1 saw the addition of a few new crafting recipes and items to help out players build a more solid defense line, as well as a bunch of new biomes. There was the nuclear fallout zone, the burnt forest, the forest, which sounds pretty plain after hearing the burnt forest, the plains, the desert, the wasteland, rural areas and a bunch of cities which are scattered around the map. Multiple variations of zombies were also developed to switch it up, make it so that the player doesn't see the same plain old zombie again and again. The plague nurse and infected woman were added, just to name a few. Furthermore, a bunch of new weapons were put into the game, including various clubs like the Spike Club and the Iron Reinforced Club, as well as actual guns like the pistol, sawed-off shotgun and sniper rifle, but the main one being a freaking rocket launcher. You can round up the zombies and blow them away in one lethal blow, which is pretty insane. Alpha 2, 9th of November 2013. A huge number of items and fixes were introduced within this update, the main ones being multiplayer. You can now join your friends online and play various different game modes in-game, such as the Horde mode, Deathmatch, as well as adding different maps into multiplayer games like Wasteland and Forest. Talking about maps, a new large wasteland city called Gravestown was added. I believe it's the largest city in the game. Gravestown is distinct for its large number of multi-story structures. There are large holes in the streets and many buildings are destroyed, suggesting that Gravestown was probably bombed. The spider zombie and zombie dogs were also implemented into this update, the spider zombie being able to climb walls and the zombie dog being faster than the typical zombie. The AI in the game for all enemies improves further and further with each update, making the zombies a harder enemy to fight against. Over time, the HUD and graphics of the game also improve, giving the player a more realistic feel to the game. Jumping over to Alpha 5, 7 Days to Die was finally released on Steam as an early access game on December 13th, 2013. Since it is in early access, the game was far from being finished. This update focused on optimizing the game fully for Steam and better for multiplayer. Only a few recipes were added. Alpha 6, 15th January 2014. This was a huge update for 7 Days to Die and probably one of the biggest so far. All new systems were added, a metal forging system and a weapon breakdown system. A huge range of different things to craft with various different materials were put in as well. Brass doors, tungsten doors, concrete. These would aid players in building a more solidified base to prevent all types of enemies from invading. The new snowy biome was put into the map, home to the new frigid hunter, frozen lumberjack and frostbitten worker, as well as multiple points of interest in the new snow biome. There's 2 new gas stations, a huge ski lodge and a sawmill containing a bunch of different loot for the survivors. Alpha 7, you're now able to claim land on the 7 Days to Die map. New players are awarded 1 land claim keystone, which is about 41 by 41 blocks. You can get more claim keystones by killing players and stealing theirs, or you can go mining, and if you're lucky you may come across a few of these. Place these down to confirm that this is your ground and no one can trespass on your area. As the updates go by, the main enemies shift from zombies to enemy players, which is of course in an apocalyptic world more realistic. People tend to become extremely possessive and only fight for themselves and who they care about. One of the biggest updates in 7 Days to Die was finally added. Hats! You're now able to look stylish and fashionable as you take down bases and fend off those pesky zombies. Alpha 8 and 9 were pretty much only bug fixes and graphical improvements, and overall bettering the quality of life in game. Nothing extremely game changing occurred. Alpha 10, 22nd of November 2014. The main add this update being a brand new character creation system, complete with a custom face, body morphing, and a fully visible clothing and armor on your character. With it, you can customize your character and make him or her look like whatever you'd like. Also included in this build are a ton of new lootable or craftable clothing, including Kevlar helmets, SWAT helmets, bandanas, goggles, sunglasses, denim jackets, pants, boots, and tank tops. Alpha 11 was released on April 2nd, 2015, where developers updated to Unity 5, which includes many graphical improvements, a new quality range system for guns, weapons, tools, and armor, and a new zombie called Feral. This zombie is pretty different to other zombies. They are not affected by daylight, and they're a lot taller, stronger than most zombies, making them very difficult and dangerous targets. Because of their strength, they pose a huge threat to player-built structures. If you place a wall down, they can easily destroy it with great speed. There were a lot of bug fixes and changes made, but not a lot added into the game. The devs at this point are still refining the game and the vast amount of tasks that you can do. Alpha 12 was released on July 3rd, 2015, and added a new vehicle system with a mini bike. This helps players travel across the map and escape from zombies and enemy players. But there is a downside to this. In order to craft the bike, players must first read a mini bike book, then you have to assemble all of the different parts separately. So the handlebars, then the seat, then the wheels, then the battery, which in all honesty is fair. It just adds to the survival aspect of the game. Alpha 13 was released on the 10th of December 2015, adding temperature survival elements into the game. So going into a desert will cause you to be more thirsty, or entering a snow biome will make you feel cold, and you would need to warm up. The difficulty of the game had just increased a lot, but in a good way. It's one step closer to a fully survival game. Alpha 14 released on March 26, 2016, saw the addition of a multitude of new locations to Navesgain, including the new largest city, Perishton, a bandit-like shantytown. A bunch of new brand new locations were also added: hidden snow cabins, Indian ruins, a waterworks, cell towers, boat docks, banks, islands, handmade caves, car lots, diners, and cemeteries. Nearly 100 new locations to discover. You legit won't recognize the map. It was also in this update that the game was announced to be on PlayStation and Xbox One, published by Telltale Publishing. A couple months later, on June and July 2016, the game was finally released on console, giving a larger range of players access to this insane survival game. Jumping nearly a whole year later to June 6, 2017, they introduced Alpha 16 with a bunch of new items, the main one being electricity. Various traps including electric fences and spinning blades were implemented. These seriously make it so much easier when holding down a base. Multiple zombies would be taken out with ease without having to waste any precious ammo. Jumping again nearly a year and a half later, on November 19th, 2017, 7 Days to Die finally dropped another big update, Alpha 17. And this saw the addition of a few vehicles, a bicycle, a quote-unquote badass motorcycle, a 4x4 vehicle, and a gyrocopter, I think, which allows players to own the skies. You can now fly and travel a lot faster without worrying about any zombies. Furthermore, a brand new quest system was put in place. You can receive these by simply talking to the trader and looking at his offer jobs and accepting a quest. Again, another year later, on October 2nd, 2019, Alpha 18 was released, which pretty much optimized and balanced the changes made from Alpha 17, with the addition of a few new things. A new infection system. Infection is easier to contact when you have low health than high health. 1% is barely infected, and 100% infection, you straight out die. Stage 1 lasts in real time an hour and up to 14% has no side effects. Stage 2 lasts 3 hours up to 57% and has minus 25% stamina recovery. Stage 3 lasts 3 hours and is minus 35% stamina recovery and minus 1 to all attributes. Getting hit by zombies can increase the infection level. As well as this, a few new weapons were added, such as a spear, a junk turret, a stun baton, an M60, brass knuckles, just to name a few. Now onto the most recent huge update, Alpha 19, released on June 27th, 2020. Through these updates, there has been a lot of graphical improvements and small changes to improve the game, like adding small new locations. I had skipped over these as a few were added in each update, a few being the same buildings as well. Repeating it would be a waste of time. In this update, they reworked the critical hit system, making it have a larger effect in your actual game. For example, a sprained arm lowers your reload time, or a broken leg decreases your mobility. These could easily lead to your death. Personally, I think the devs are doing a great job at making the game as realistic as possible while it's still being playable. It becomes way more immersive this way. A few new weapons were seen in this update as well. An auto shotgun, a desert vulture which is a magnum pistol essentially, and an impact driver. This is the fastest way to harvest mechanical items and strip cars in seconds. It saves so much time for the players and lets them loot a lot more in a shorter amount of time. The most recent small update was 19.3, which is inside the Alpha 19 update, released on December 21st, 2020, which is pretty much server fixes and bug fixes. Let me know down in the comment section down below what you think will come to 7 Days to Die in 2021. And while you're at it, you may as well leave a like and share this video with a friend. It helps us out tremendously. Thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in another evolution video.